Hey, good morning. It's Cody from Pleasureland here in the 30D Four Winds, and we're gonna start doing initial setup, and then we'll start going through some stuff, show you how to use everything in here. So we got the slide rooms in. The battery disconnect is off right now, so we'll go ahead and put the battery on. You should have full power. And then we will go back here to the main panel. What we're gonna do, we're gonna start the generator, run everything off the generator. 317 hours on the generator on this one. Push and hold the stop button. When that lights up, that means you're priming the generator. You just go ahead and hold the start button. And you do have to have over a quarter tank of fuel for this to run. Once it gets to that certain threshold, it'll actually shut the generator off, so you don't run out of fuel. So at least then you can jump in the motorhome, bring it to get fuel. Alright, so next thing, get the slides. Slide 1, slide 2. Slide 1 is going to be your main living room slide here. Just push and hold until it's all the way out, stops on its own. And slide 2 here, same thing, just push the button. Now it's important with these slide rooms too to either bring them all the way in, all the way out, and not stop them halfway. They're a Schwintek slide system, so they have synchronized motors to them. So if you bring them in a little bit or halfway, it can mess with the synchronization of the motors, and then you're gonna have to resync them, it is an easy process to do, but just to avoid it altogether, just try to get in the habit of bringing them all the way in or all the way out. All right, and then the rest of the stuff on the control panel here, so you got your tank levels that'll appear up top here once you hit these buttons. So we got full LP, full battery, then your fresh black and gray. The black tank is empty. They didn't flush it though, so it's probably got something hung up on one of the sensors. Pretty common. Then you have your tank heaters here. You just flip those on off if you're camping in some colder weather. Water pump, flip that on, the light will stay on if the water pump's on. And then you have the water heater. Now, being we replaced the water heater with the on-demand water heater, these two switches are now dead, so they don't do anything. Okay, and your on-demand water heater is going to be right here. And for this, you turn it on, and you just set your temperature. And I think the other cranked all the way up testing it, but whatever you want to set it to. And then once you turn the water pump on, start running water through it, then it will kick on and start warming the water. All right, down below that, we do have the heat. Flip it over, set your temperature. Furnace will start up, ignite all by itself. Then you have the fan for the air conditioner. Flip it one more time and that'll be on the cool. So that would be your air conditioning. Then you set the temperature for that. And now most of the time on these ones, usually just always run it on the auto, high or low speed setting, because that will kick the fan on and off as needed. If you leave the fan on, the fan's going to run non-stop whether the air conditioning is running or not. The fan will run and circulate air. And then your main light in here. Okay, so that's most of the complicated stuff in here, I guess you could say. Kitchen. You got the cooktop here. Flips one on top of the other. This is your igniter. So as you turn this, it sparks all three burners at the same time. I think I have the propane off right now. Yes, I do. But you just turn the burner on and then start flipping it, and it will actually spark your pilot down below here too. You can see that spark. You can usually see it best off the reflection. So that you would push in and hold, and then with your other hand, while you're pushing it and holding, you would start sparking it. And then once you see the flame light up down below, then keep holding it for 5-10 seconds so that thermocoupling can warm up. And after that, then you should be good to let go, and then you can turn it up, set your temperature, and then you're ready to rock. You do have the pop socket right there, extra outlets, USBs on there too. You got power when it's lit up. You have extra lights underneath here. This one switch, the first one here, is actually for your vent fan. Close this. Alright, then the couch, jackknife sofa. Lift up in the middle, and it just flops right down flat for an extra bed. And flip it up. It's best if you hold it and then grab the back of it here too. And that'll flop down easy enough. You're gonna have a couple of these lights throughout. They just got push buttons right in the middle of them. Just turn those on and off. The ones that are not on a light switch. Then up top you got the ladder. And this bunk just pulls, gets locked into here, and then the ladder actually hooks into these spots. TV is located there. That's all hooked up. And located right inside of there. The dinette is what they call a dream dinette. So this little guy here is actually the lock for it, the lock mechanism. So if you look down below here, it's unlocked right now, but when it's locked, it actually goes up a little bit higher and sits up just like that. It sits in front of that white piece. Okay, and that'll prevent the table from sliding down if you lean on it. But otherwise, you just unlock it, and you simply push the table down. It's best to do it right in the middle. Okay, and once you get it down, then you would put it in the lock position down below too. Okay, and then you just configure your cushions, go right on top of another. Otherwise, simply comes back up, lock back in place. Refrigerator is the gas and electric refrigerator on this one. So this one, you got the on-off switch, and then you have gas or auto. Okay, so once we turn it on, usually yells at you once it's on. And now we're on auto. So we're running the generator right now. So it will run off of 110 volt, being we have the generator going. If we shut the generator off, it'll automatically switch over and start running on propane. Otherwise, if you want to manually have it run on propane all the time, just push that button, and then it will light itself. If it does not light, the check light will come on here. Alright, then the thermostat for in here, this is just this slider. Slide it up and down. Pretty common thing is for this wire to fall down, whether it gets bumped by stuff in the fridge or rough road. Obviously the higher the little thermostat thing is here, the colder it will be. So if it falls down and it's laying down in the ice tray down there, or the water tray, drip tray, it's not going to be running very cold. So that's something to keep an eye on. If you ever notice that, just put it back in its spot. Alright, and then going back, you got this that'll fold down into another bed, and that's just a matter of twisting that leg out of there, plopping that down on these wooden pieces, and then you have the cushions to put in place there. Right below the bed, you do have all your breakers. They're labeled here for your 12 volt side of things, and then 110 side of things are located right next to their breakers. These do have a light alongside of them, so if they do have one that's blown out, it will light up and tell you which one is blown. Except for these two 40 amp fuses, these are your reverse polarity fuses. They do not have a light to notify you if they're blown out. So that can be another thing to check. It's just a matter of those can blow from hooking up a battery incorrectly or anything really. On a motorhome, it's not as common as it is a travel trailer or a fifth wheel, because you're not necessarily unplugging and plugging the battery as much on these. But just something to be aware of. I'd grab some 12 volt fuses and just keep them in a drawer in here so you have them at all times. Alright, and then back here, you don't have a lot going on. Just have their main light switch located right next to the cabinet there, and then you have outlets, USBs, and a 12 volt cigarette lighter outlet back there on that side, and then you just have outlets on this side and lights underneath there. You do have a little bit of storage on this side that actually goes to the exterior of the camper. And then this panel here is actually going to be, you take this up and your fresh tank valve is going to be located underneath here to drain your freshwater tank. It'll just be a little twist valve. Water pump's going to be underneath there too for winterizing. And bathroom, nothing crazy in here either. They don't have any extra additional switches. Just your main light switches, fan switch. The one thing in here to keep an eye on would be your GFI outlet. Now if you have things inside that are not working and that light's on, that means your GFI is tripped. So just like at home, come in here, reset that, and you'll be ready to rock and roll. Alright, now going to the outside. I am going to shut the generator off while we're out here though. Otherwise you probably won't be able to hear me. Alright. I'm just going to run around here and open these compartments up real quick, and then we'll start going through everything. Alright, so we will start in the front. So the front storage compartment, don't have much going on in there. Storage, same with the second one located here. Did miss this one. Another storage area. This will be where one of your Schwintek slide system controls is going to be. If you ever need to know its placement for if you have any issues, this is where it's at. Not anything you need to worry about right now, everything's good. That's just the main controller for it. Another storage here. And then behind that panel right there is going to be a quick connect for your propane line. You have an outdoor grill. Another storage compartment underneath here. Then you got the big storage compartment back here underneath the bed. Alright, then your main city water hookup is going to be located here. So you just twist the hose on here. That'll be running off of city water if you're at the campground or at your house. If you're filling up your freshwater tank to go anywhere, you need to bring water with you. This is where you'd fill it. So you just put your hose in here. This is a breather, and then you do have an overflow. I think on this one, if it starts overflowing, it'll just start coming out of here, or it'll come out of the breather. Some of them have it down below as well. I would have to double check and see if this one has one down below. The Sandy flush, this is going to be a black tank flush. Okay, so make sure do not get these two mixed up. This one, basically, once you have your black tank open, which is in here. Okay, so black tank on the left hand side, gray water on your right hand side. So gray water is your shower, sink water, black tank is just your toilet. Okay, so you have your sewer hose hooked up here. Pull the black tank, let it drain out, and then you would hook up your water hose here while the valve's still open and just let this run for a couple minutes. And what that does is it sprays around inside of that black tank, helps clean off the sensors. As you saw inside, it still says it's 1/3 full, but something probably stuck on the sensor, which is pretty common. It'll also help keep the smell under control too, just kind of keep it nice and clean. So but yeah, you don't want to mix these two up, because if you hook this up and just leave it with that black tank closed, then good chance you might have water coming up through your toilet, and it's not going to be clean water. So just keep an eye on that. But then, so after you've done that, after you've flushed the black tank out, you can close that black tank valve once it's done draining, and then you would pull the gray tank, and that's going to help clean out the rest of that hose too. So you always do your black tank first and then do your gray tank. Get that soapy water running through the hose. It's a lot better than the black tank water running through there last. Alright, then your fuel fill, always on the driver's side, keep that in mind. Your power cord hooks up right here. This is your hookup. This is going to be a TV hookup. These ones are always a pain to get opened. But just cable satellite hookup back behind this panel. If for some reason they do have cable at the campground, or if you do get a portable satellite, that'd be where you hook it up. Propane tank. So this is full. You do have to manually come out here, twist it so it's on. Okay. This is actually where they would come and they would fill it too. So once you go anywhere to have it filled, you drive up. So this side's open, and then they would hook up to that there. Turn it on, open the bleeder valve, fill the tank for you. All right, then furnace exhaust vent. You get hot exhaust out of there, so just make sure nothing's there. Now your on-demand water heater is located behind this panel, and this we had to reutilize your existing water panel to modify the vent here, so he blocked this off, and this is your vent now for your on-demand water heater. But the other one did not sit in here correctly, so we just reutilized this one. Still had the matching colors then, but it's all sealed up, ready to rock and roll. You don't have to get in here for really anything. So. And down below, this storage does have freshwater hose in it that they left in it, so I left it for you guys. You have an automatic transfer relay inside of here that's for switching power from the generator over. You shouldn't need to worry about that. And then the other slide motor, Swintech slide system switch is located in there too. All right. And then this one is just your generator. You don't really need to do too much there. They recommend you check the oil every time you use it. Then just changing the oil, changing the filters. Easy access to get in to do that kind of stuff though. Alright, and then the whole front end of it's just like a normal vehicle. There's going to be some things that are going to be different, like your emergency start right here. So this is if your coach or your motor battery is dead. If you push and hold this switch, it actually pulls juice from the coach batteries, so the house batteries, so to speak, so you can still start the vehicle. Okay, so that's nice to have just in case you leave the radio on accident or a light down up here that's run off of the motor battery. Okay, and we got the fridge yelling at us back there because we don't have the propane on. Alright, but then the radio power button is the little blue one here, and that will power up. A couple extra outlets up front here. Alright, it does have Sirius XM. So that will get activated to give you a trial run of that, and then you can subscribe to it if you want to, just like if you buy a used vehicle. So it does have Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, Bluetooth for your phone. Then you can have the camera on the whole time you're going down the road too. That's nice if you're pulling trailer or just to see behind you. You only have the two side cameras, and these ones are just to watch the kids in the back, make sure they're not getting too wild. So then you got the equalizer settings to adjust. But if you hook up your phone to this USB here, that's going to get synced up into here to give you the Android Auto or the Apple CarPlay. Okay, and then you'll have basically the screen mirror on there. That's nice to have. So, all right, well that's about it. So I'm gonna get the AC on, let the fridge cool down some more, and we will see you guys this afternoon. Thank you much.